woman right there, convicted of stabbing her boyfriend to death, only gets a slap on the wrist. She faced the possibility of life in prison for stabbing him 108 times.
Your thoughts?
What?
But the judge ruling that she had no self-control while in a cannabis-induced psychosis.
Get out there! Get out there!
Todd Pyro is live in the studio with the shocking details. Todd.
This is a head-scratcher, Ainsley. The judge is sentencing 32-year-old Bryn Speecher to 100 hours of community service, 2 years probation, and the big one, no jail time. She broke down in tears after a jury convicted her of involuntary manslaughter last month. California judge claims she had no control over her actions after stabbing the victim, Chad O'Meala, 108 times. Psychiatrists in the case claim the incident was, quote, 100% caused by cannabis-induced psychosis after the 32-year-old took 2 hits from the victim's bong.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
She expressed remorse during closing statements, saying, quote, I wish I had known more about the dangers of marijuana. Had I known, I would never have smoked it that night or at all. O'Malia's family shocked and angry over the sentencing yesterday. The victim's father accusing the judge of being biased, saying, quote, he just gave everyone in the state of California who smokes marijuana a license to kill someone. The woman and the victim were dating for only a few weeks before his death in 2018. Police arrived on scene to find Speecher in a pool of blood near the victim's body. She also attempted to stab herself in the neck before being taken away.
This is outrageous. Right to jail, right away.
Hey, yo. 108 times, bruh? That's actually sick. What the fuck? And we're gonna start out with cannabis-induced psychosis. I don't know how much you paid those fucking doctors, but stop fucking playing with me. And if there was ever gonna be a cannabis-induced psychosis, I mean, it can't happen.
Right.
But
there can be like
it can happen.
Adverse reactions, but it's very rare.
It's very rare, and for taking 2 hits out of a bong, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. What's the other facts in this case that will lead us to believe something else, that you had another reason for trying to kill this motherfucker? Because honestly, I don't believe for a second.
Had to be laced.
Laced with what? So why didn't the same guy who was smoking out of his own bong, why didn't he try to kill her?
Because he's already dead.
No, but he didn't go into a psychosis.
Well, he was
and
fine.
He's the one that had it.
Whatever he's laced with, he was fine.
It wasn't laced. Cut it the fuck out.
Listen,
because
it doesn't make sense.
The doctor should have testified to that, but they didn't. They just said cannabis-induced psychosis. I don't believe you for a fucking second. And to be honest, I don't know why they even charged her with involuntary manslaughter to begin with. Like,
I wonder how old she was, because it's a possibility that if she does have history of schizophrenia in the family, people who do drugs, any type of drugs, even marijuana, it can bring up those that genetic gene in you, especially at a young age. Now, if she's younger than 20, it can happen. So that is one case where it can actually bring out something in her, and maybe she had a psychosis break in that moment. But 2 hits alone, that's a little fishy to me.
A little fishy?
A little fishy to me.
This sounds like a goddamn conspiracy. Because, for one, like I just said, where was the reaction from him? Number 2, how the fuck this? Let me tell you something. And let's all be completely serious here, right? If a man stabbed his girlfriend 108 times and then tried to take himself out, but was captured by the police and said, I smoked too much weed and got too high, so I went into cannabis-induced psychosis and I did that. And do you really think that he would be getting... First of all, he would never have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. That's the type of thing where you get charged with first-degree or second-degree murder, where you're facing life in prison, the death penalty, 25 to life. Yet, so the original charge is already bullshit to me. That the fact that you even entertain this fucking nonsense, and that there wasn't no higher charge during the trial, because from what I'm looking at, it seems like the charge that she was convicted of, I mean, I gotta look and see if maybe they charged the higher charges, but she was only convicted of involuntary manslaughter. So at sentencing, she was only facing up to 4 years, which is crazy for, like I said, stabbing someone 108 times. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? Second of all,
slap on the
aside
wrist.
from undercharging, she gets convicted of this, and the fucking, I guess the judge is doing the sentencing. You sentence this bitch to probation and community service when you had the option to give her at least a couple years in jail. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I'm telling you, the infantilization and victimhood of women, it never ceases. It has no bounds. Where you can take 2 hits from a bong, mutilate your boyfriend by stabbing him 108 times, where in any other scenario you'd be charged with at least 2nd-degree murder. Plead that you went into cannabis-induced psychosis. Have enough money to find some doctors to fucking write a report to agree with you. And the court actually allows that bullshit to go forward. Insane. In-fucking sane. And then on top of that, to compound this situation, the court refuses to dispense justice in sentencing this bitch appropriately. And instead, you get a slap on the wrist, that's nothing. Are you kidding me? People drive their car too fast, hit nobody, and get more time than jail than this.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here, son? Community service for a killing.
Again, like I said, there's no real record of cannabis doing any aggressive behavior in anybody. But, like I said, unless you have an underlying factor of a gene like psychosis or freaking schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And usually it's between certain ages below 20 where it would present itself at a certain point.
She's around that age. But my point is that she doesn't have any type of permanent
history,
mental incapacity.
Right.
Is that it's like the people who used to back in like the 80s and shit try to claim like they spontaneously went crazy, but then they're not crazy anymore. Like I'm fine. I went crazy and committed the murder. Now I'm fine again. So I should be found incompetent to testify and incompetent to be found guilty of this because not incompetent to testify, but incompetent to be found guilty of this because I had lost my mind at the time that it happened. So therefore I'm not responsible. But because I've returned to being me, there's no need to put me in a mental institution and drug me.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yes.
Insane fucking bullshit. That almost never worked.
Yeah.
Yet, just what the father said, you basically gave everybody in the state of California a license to fucking pretend to get high, commit a murder, and then say they were subject to cannabis-induced psychosis. What the fuck is the proof for this?
Right.
What is the proof? That you did something insane and smoked some weed before that?
Right.
That's not logical.
Right.
So what evidence did the doctors present to the court, that the lawyers present on behalf of the doctors to the court to establish that this was 100%, as they said, cannabis-induced psychosis?
Related, yeah.
What? 2 hits?
Yeah.
I don't believe. What?
It's just like, wow.
That's not real.
No.
Like, I would expect to hear cannabis-induced psychosis when you ate 47 brownies.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear.
It's just a straight bias because certain medical people do not believe that marijuana is good for you or has good benefits.
There's no ration. There's no just like I can't wrap my head around the Jonathan Majors thing. I can't legally wrap my head around this. I'm like, problem is that creates weird precedent too because you can't. You're not going to be able to appeal her sentence. She's a defendant. So who's going to appeal it? The government? I don't think the government can appeal her sentence, or her conviction. So that's it. That's sick. That's sick. Let me tell you something. You a woman and you do something to a man. You can reach into the depths of the earth for any type of fucking retard level excuse. Just throw that out there and people will just infantilize you, turn you into a fucking victim, and give you a pass. This shit is fucking disgusting. Sorry. She should have got life in prison for this shit.
It's the Caucasian tears. Caucasian tears.
You just gotta be a little white girl and cry, and they absolve you of all your sins like Jesus. It's fucking sick.
Young. Sometimes even.
No, old too.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
That's what a Karen is.
Yep.
Nope. Get the fuck out of here. This is nonsense. They should have hang you by the neck until dead. That's what it should have been. Not I'm about to go wash some. What she about to do? Do community service? She gonna wash some dishes and be done with it. after doing a murder. I don't believe this.
Somebody should be shouting from the back, hang him!
Guilty! That nigga is guilty! I got the rope right here. The fuck? So the fuck?
And it's just like
this is a pitchfork. This is an 1800s pitchfork situation.
Right.
You got off, we gotta go get her.
Where's the remorse for the person who lost their life? What about their family?
Where's the justice?
Where's the justice for him? And
Where's the
his
justice, bro?
I bet they're outraged. Like, I would be outraged.
Outraged enough to go looking for her.
Serious?
Hey,
right?
listen, I don't know.